Give me a thumbs up. You are an odd one today.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Jack.
All right. My name's Chuck Anderson. I am the vice chair of this year's Rendezvous Committee. On behalf of the committee and the entire CIRES Members Council, I'd like to welcome you to the 2023 Rendezvous. As a person who grew up in Minnesota, hearing all the stories of the Voyageurs Rendezvous, I think this event is perfectly named because this is our time. Once a year, we get together from all of our diverse work locations, divisions, disciplines, come together, enjoy a lot of really yummy food, good company, and celebrate just the amazing breadth and depth of everything CIRES does, and all of you amazing people that pull it off. So that's very cool, and this number might surprise some of you. Who knew in 2019 that it would be 4 long years before we were able to do this again? But since then, 270 people have joined CIRES. So if you're one of those 270, this is Rendezvous. So, and for the rest of you, welcome back. Got a couple quick housekeeping things. First and foremost, if for some reason we need to evacuate during the event, the emergency exits are actually just the back doors of the ballroom, and just keep going right up past the tent and get out with safety. Also, if you're one of those 270 new people, the restrooms are actually out the main doors and immediately to your right in the hallway. For those of you who are getting 5 and 10-year service certificates and promotion certificates, you can pick them up at the registration table, sort of after the event, before the poster session, or kind of during the poster session, at your convenience. For all of you who are winning awards, please gather up here on the stage immediately after the program for a group picture, as well as if you're a CMC member, please also gather up here for a group picture. And speaking of the CMC, these are our current CMC members. Hopefully all of you recognize at least one person on that picture. We are your advocates. We exist to basically be a conduit between you and CIRES administration for ideas, questions, concerns, anything like that. The CMC is also responsible for Rendezvous and the Outstanding Performance Awards that will be issued today or awarded today, as well as the CIRES Mentoring Program. So those are all programs that were born out of the CMC and are run by the CMC on your behalf. And our meetings are open to everybody, so please check the CIRES event calendar on the Inside CIRES and find a meeting, and please stop by and see what CMC is all about and sort of contribute along the way. So with that, without further ado, again, thanks everyone for coming, and I will turn the podium over to Waleed, our director.
Well, thank you, Chuck. You're a great MC. I feel like I should sit down and let you take it from here. But
I can't sing.
So welcome, all of you, those who've been with us for a while and those who just joined us sometime in the last 3 or 4 years. This is really a great event for me because it's a chance to just kind of step back and appreciate. Appreciate all we've done, appreciate our accomplishments, appreciate the recognition, but most of all, appreciate you. It really is, I feel very lucky to be standing up here on the shoulders of you giants and just to say thank you and to share with you some of our accomplishments, successes, recognition, and gratitude. So with that, we're gonna we're going to start off a little differently than in most years, and I'm thrilled about this. We've got 5 lightning talks, very short 3-minute talks, and they've been timed. They're going to be held to that. But from graduate students. And one of the things I love about CIRES, we have about 200 students out of our 850 people. About 100 of those are graduate students, and I love the, perhaps it's because I was a graduate student here, but I love the energy, I love the optimism, I love the enthusiasm, I love the lighting up at discovery, you know, at learning, which is a key part of what we're about. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over. You guys are in for a treat with a few presentations, just from a sampling of the science that our students do. And I'm gonna start with Yangfei Chen, part of the Chu group, whose title, or we'll be talking about LiDAR discoveries. So with that, I'll turn it over.
So hi everyone, my name is Yingfei Chen and I'm from Dr. Chu's group. Today I'm going to introduce some LiDAR discoveries over border. As you can see, it's very challenging to observe some space-atmosphere interaction region, but it's a very crucial part of the atmosphere. It's a complicated region where all the interactions between the Earth, the Sun, and magnetic field, some other phenomena ending up creating the environmental conditions that allow life to survive by protecting the surface from the harsh space environment. With tons of cosmic dust falling on Earth every day, those metal items like sodium, iron, potassium, and calcium, they are released into this region through medium ablation and sputtering. This can form a permanent layer, usually from 75 kilometers to 150 kilometers. And these layers, they just occur regularly there. And it has been known for nearly a century. What is unknown until 2011 is the first discovery of thermosphere-ionosphere metal layers. It is first discovered in Antarctica and then observed globally. Those layers are of great scientific interest because they can provide unique tracers for direct measurements of the least understood but very crucially important region. And those layers promise to help researchers to better understand how Earth's atmosphere interacts with the space, ultimately supporting life. Most of the time, my work is done in front of the computer and analyzing the LiDAR data, but I have also spent 6 months in Antarctica learning how to operate LiDAR systems there. And in 2021, Dr. Chu and I made the first discovery of regular green TINA layers over border using the LiDAR systems. And by analyzing 7 years of star sodium LiDAR data, we have discovered those TINA layers. They occur almost every night before dusk and before dawn and after dusk every night, and they have almost 100 occurrence rate. This is a very important discovery because we have never seen those dusk and dawn features before, and using those layers as tracers, we can better understand the fundamental processes in the space-atmosphere interaction region. And furthermore, we can advance our understandings of how they shape the atmosphere of the Earth-like planets throughout our galaxy, so that we can discover and understand better the universal processes that allow the atmosphere sustainable and habitable for life. So in the future, I'm ready to go back to my Murdo station to make more LiDAR observations and make more science discoveries. Thank you.
All right, thank you. As you can see, Xinjiao's enthusiasm for discoveries in the upper atmosphere with LiDAR is contagious. The next talk is Hannah Miller from the Hinckley group. From the very ever enthusiastic Hinckley group. title is up there for you. And
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me on this one? I think it might be working now. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to share a little bit about my dissertation assessing mercury cycling and high elevation ecosystems in the western US. So to jump right in, mercury is a geologically sourced metal that is now cycling at levels 4 to 6-fold higher than the pre-industrial era as a result of human activities. As a result, mercury deposition in the form of rain, snow, and dust has been increasing in western US, and mountain ecosystems are particularly sensitive to these increasing mercury inputs as they have high rates of precipitation and also aquatic regions on the landscape that are conducive to converting inorganic mercury into methylmercury, which is a bioaccumulating neurotoxin. And this production of methylmercury is of concern. It's a process mediated by sulfate-reducing bacteria. And it's of concern because methylmercury bioaccumulates in organism tissues over time, as well as biomagnifies up trophic positions. And this connection to sulfate is also important as mountain regions are experiencing disproportionate impacts from global change, which is causing an increase in sulfate export from weathering pyrite and permafrost and rock glaciers. So this extra sulfate can then stimulate more methylmercury production and export downstream. So this leads to my dissertation work, where I'm looking at methylmercury production in alpine and subalpine wetlands compared to dry soil regions, export of methylmercury from wetland regions downstream, and uptake of methylmercury into local wildlife. I'm working up at Niwot Ridge Long-Term Ecological Research Station, which is just 45 minutes west of here, where I've been capturing atmospheric deposition in the form of rain, snow, and dust, picking leaves off plants and trees, digging up dozens of soil cores, collecting stream runoff, and even plucking butt hairs off pica in the alpine. So what I found is that alpine and subalpine wetlands do act as hotspots for methylmercury storage and production, with significantly higher concentrations in those wetland regions compared to the dry soil regions. Additionally, the concentrations of methylmercury in these wetland regions are comparable to concentrations in wetland regions in the Arctic, which is a region known for storing and transforming mercury on globally relevant scales. I also found that additions of sulfate into those wetland soils stimulated methylmercury production, which suggests that continued sulfate export from melting permafrost and rock glaciers could stimulate more methylmercury production in these mountain wetlands. And finally, this elevated production of methylmercury does have an impact downstream. I found significantly higher concentrations of methylmercury below these wetland regions, and also in organisms such as weasels and fish that eat from higher trophic positions and more aquatic regions on the landscape compared to pica. So in conclusion, I hope this research will help motivate continued investigation of mercury cycling in high elevation ecosystems to better understand this region's role in the global mercury cycle and also contamination risk under a changing climate.
well, thank you. You win the prize for phrase I least expected to hear at a rendezvous. All right. Next up is Sarah Becker. Working with Matt Burgess as well as Cassandra Brooks at Instar. And with that, I'll turn it over to Sarah.
Okay, hi everyone. Can you hear me okay? No. Okay. So I work in applied conservation research and fisheries management in the Southern Ocean, focusing on the wandering albatross. And this seabird is the largest flying bird in the world with a wingspan of over 11 feet. It's also arguably the most efficient flyer on the planet, soaring nearly effortlessly in powerful circumpolar winds as it forages throughout some of the most wild and productive marine habitats on the planet. They function also as an important ecosystem indicator getting clues as to the state of marine food webs in these remote and really hard to study parts of the world. They're naturally vulnerable to anthropogenic threats due to their slow reproductive rates, with one pair of birds able to produce a single chick every other year in a best-case scenario. And because of this, their populations have been in decline since the expansion of industrial fishing in the Southern Ocean. And this is driven primarily by being caught as bycatch in industrial longline fishing operations. And what happens here is the birds will be attracted to fishing vessels where they try to forage on bait, but then become hooked or entangled themselves in the process. And then these threats are additionally exacerbated by other issues such as invasive species such as rats at nesting locations, competition with these same fisheries for prey, ingesting plastic pollution, as well as climate change. So for my work, I use a variety of tools to try to better understand these compounding threats and seek to identify possible policy options. So far, I've identified foraging hotspots using satellite tracking data. And this is done generated by tags that are temporarily attached to the backs of individual birds. And the next phase of my work that I'm moving into currently, we use life history data to simulate the effects of different bycatch mitigating fisheries regulations on population growth rates for these birds to try to see how management interventions could reverse or reduce these ongoing population declines. So finally, the last phase of my work, we use a combination both of life history and tracking data, generated with a data set that's been painstakingly gathered over several decades of field observations to examine how behavioral responses to changing environmental conditions under climate change are impacting both reproductive and survival rates. So the persistence of this species really does depend on management actions, and my work examines these conservation challenges from three interlocking issues that are going to be important to consider for future conservation plans. So again, these include mapping of these vital habitats, providing guidelines for fisheries regulations, and seeking to better understand and predict the impacts of climate change. So in addition to publishing our work in scientific journals, my colleagues and I plan to submit our findings to the scientific bodies of the multinational agreements that are responsible both for fisheries management in the Southern Ocean, as well as for the conservation of albatross globally, so that our work can be directly considered in the ongoing marine protected area plans and fisheries regulations that are under active development in the region currently. Thank you.
Thank you, that was a great job. And I think it's a reminder of, the range of work we do here, but also the impact. When you actually get into policy and planning and having those direct impacts, it's great to see, so thank you for that. Next up, Arunima Prakash. Because when it comes to LiDAR, one talk just won't do it. So rather than a 6-minute talk, we're going to spread it out over, no, this is a different talk. But I will turn it over to Aruna from the Chew Group. Take it away.
Hi everybody, my name is Arunima. So I study polar mesospheric clouds, which are formed in the most unique and puzzling environment found only in the polar summer. So the constantly sunlit summer polar mesopause is the coldest region between Sun and Mars, creating an environment that sustains and forms the highest clouds on Earth called polar mesospheric clouds or noctilucent clouds. It has been proposed that PMCs could be an early indicator of climate change. So how can these clouds help us detect climate change? Well, CO2 warms the lower atmosphere while it cools down the upper atmosphere. And water vapor is also expected to increase in a warmer climate. So therefore, both of these together, you would expect that it would let you increase PMCs as well. So I'm trying to understand the role of all these factors that would affect the PMCs and the changes that we see in them. So I work in Chew Research Group, and we employ two highly sophisticated LiDARs, a UV LiDAR and a visible LiDAR, to explore the upper atmosphere in Antarctica. My role in specific is very multidisciplinary, spanning in both science and engineering. I characterize PMCs that form over McMurdo, Antarctica, as well as establish their long-term trends using LiDAR and satellite observations. Last year, I spent almost 6 months in Antarctica, where a typical day would start with a harrowing drive through high winds, over snowdrifts, in the dark, without headlights, to avoid scattered light from interfering with instruments. Once safely inside, my work could be anything and everything, with assisting Dr. Chu in laser repair and refurbishment, to running the lasers, tuning the system, and data collection. With this experience under my belt, I am excited to go back this fall to lead the LiDAR campaign for a full year. Because the goal never bothered me anyway. Coming back to climate change, while climate change is expected to play a role in PMCs, there are other factors that could affect PMCs, such as the solar cycle and polar vortex breakup timing. So, increased solar flux would lead to decrease in water vapor due to photolysis, and an earlier vortex breakup would cause the summer to be sooner, giving us more water vapor and lower temperatures, meaning more clouds. My work has found that the main role or variability of PMCs is due to polar vortex breakup timing, whereas the solar cycle plays a much less significant role. During 1981 to 2002, it has been attributed that PMC variability was due to solar cycle. But my work has found that during this time, polar vortex breakup was basically averaged out or smoothed compared to the solar cycle, giving us the illusion of a strong solar cycle signature. To strengthen this argument, in the years that we do not see a solar cycle signature, we found that solar cycle is out of phase with the solar cycle. So given this, it is really important to understand what happens in the long term, to understand what factors could be affecting PMCs. Circling back to climate change, as we move into a warmer climate, who knows if someday climate change can overpower the dynamic forces that cause PMC variability. Given this, it is really important to have a long data set to study these clouds and their variability to understand the impact of climate change on the upper atmosphere. Because of this, I am excited to go back to Antarctica to contribute to this large data set when I go back this fall. Thank you.
Thank you, Aruna. You are a consummate professional. I'm sorry to have created a distraction with the 30-year service awards, or whatever in October. All right, and then last up, Margarita Reza from the Volkamer Group. I will turn it over to you.
Alright, hi everyone, I'm Margo, and today I'm going to be talking to you about iodine chemistry in the atmosphere as it relates to ozone destruction. So the signing of the Montreal Protocol in 1987, the discovery of the Antarctic ozone hole, called for the phasing out of man-made industrial gases containing chlorine and bromine that destroy ozone. The ozone layer is important for our global health as it protects us from UV radiation. So how is it doing? The good news is that ozone levels in the upper stratosphere are improving. However, ozone in the lower stratosphere is not recovering as expected. Iodine is not regulated by the Montreal Protocol, but it was considered in last year's ozone assessment report. So you can see here, it's released from the oceans after ozone deposits into the sea and reacts with iodine in the water. It's also released by marine plant life. And if we look at the top, we see that it happens to be much more efficient at destroying ozone than chlorine and bromine. Actually, it's 600 times more efficient than chlorine on a per atom basis. And it can destroy ozone in the gas phase and as it accumulates into particles. Therefore, understanding how iodine cycles between the particle phase to the gas phase can help us determine its contribution to ozone depletion. So what I did to investigate how iodine cycles is I coated a glass tube with an iodate solution. And if we zoom into that solution, you can find a particle that contains iodate, shown as purple dots, and a light-sensitive iron compound, shown in red. And what's special about this iron compound is that it can absorb light energy, converts it to chemical energy that's then used to drive chemical reactions. And we call these type of compounds photosensitizers. So I shined this tube with visible light, and I found that iodine gas is released from it. So essentially, I discovered a recipe and key ingredients that translates this iodine in the particle phase to the gas phase. And this recipe calls for particle containing iodine, a light-sensitive iron compound, being exposed to visible light. So how do these results inform what happens in real life? Well, we can find mineral dust all throughout the atmosphere, from the Earth or from a burning meteor, perhaps. And since we know that visible light reaches all the way down to the Earth's surface, we can expect dust to play a role in the release of iodine gas, where it can destroy ozone as it cycles between the particle and the gas phase. We still have yet to determine whether ozone destruction by iodine can help explain why lower stratospheric ozone is not recovering as expected. But what we do know is that iodine concentrations are increasing due to increasing ozone pollution. So the ozone destruction by iodine will continue to grow unless air quality everywhere is improved. This is a great example of how air quality, climate, and global health are all connected. If you want to hear more about my experiments, I have a poster, and a lot of these people have posters, so please go check them out. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for that. I love this part. I love seeing the students excited about their work. I love that we can expose ourselves to different kinds of discoveries and research activities. And I just want to encourage you, stop by the graduate student posters. The ones who have posters are listed up here. And talk to them, learn a little more. Talk to other students, learn a little more. It's just something that really excites me. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words, which is rare for me. But nice job, everyone. Please join me again and congratulations. So moving forward, I wanted to just talk a little bit about what's gone on this year, where we've been, where we're headed. And a key element of that is the CIRES strategic plan. I've mentioned this in town halls, or you should have had some exposure to this, but I want to point you to the QR code, the first of the ones on the bottom right, where you can find the strategic plan. There is a poster about this, so please stop by the poster, scan the QR codes, read the plan, and share your ideas on how we can implement the plan. This is supposed to be a community effort. Now, admittedly, it was a committee that put together the plan, because if 850 of us tried to write a plan, it'd be 850 pages of all different stuff. So, but we want there to be community input, community ideas. We want to draw from all that everyone has to offer in the successful execution of the plan. The core elements of the plan are the imperatives. The first about expanding or advancing our research capabilities. The second about linkages and increasing interdisciplinary or new opportunities across disciplines. The third is advancing diversity, equity, justice, and inclusion through our workforce. And the fourth is about reach, about our work accomplishing more than simply advancing science, but getting out there, getting used, making an impact. And you know, when I say making an impact, I don't want to imply applications-only oriented research. If I can't see a direct linkage, then it doesn't fit. On the contrary, impact is stimulating thought. Impact is stimulating new ideas and creativity. So basic knowledge, but that knowledge can and should and must have reach. So those are the 4 elements of the strategic plan. Please read through it if you have not already. And please stop by the poster and share your ideas, your thoughts on how we can go to the next level, to the next step as an environmental research institute through our partnership with NOAA and here on a college campus. All of those are elements that position us for success on multiple fronts, and we seek to take advantage of those opportunities and achieve those successes. So I encourage you to stop by. Next, I'm going to talk about just a few science highlights. It's impossible to just, and in fact, I request that Katie not ask me, what do you want to highlight this year? Because I can't answer that question. There's too much. So being the director, I assign it to Katie. And these are just some samples, but to drive home a couple of key points. One is this example of the path to recovery of the ozone layer, passing a significant milestone. There was reference in one of the talks to the Montreal Protocol and the reduction of ozone. Most are aware of the ozone hole that has persisted over Antarctica. And the point here is sustained observation, analysis, and understanding over large scales, and in this case in remote places. This is something we do. This is something we've got real strength in. This is a science success that is tied to CIRES and tied critically to the partnership of NOAA. I see some of my NOAA colleagues here. I don't want to claim credit for all this, but I do think the partnership deserves credit for a lot of this work and the impacts on the broader scientific community. So from the larger scale to the very local, again, ozone depletion and air quality, but in a specific location in Utah. And the point here is simply, yes, we look global or regional and on larger scales, but we also look very specifically. When I talk about what we do here at CIRES, I talk about the diversity of our science, but I also talk about the diversity of scale in space and in time. Activities or processes that occur at microbial levels to global levels. This is an example of a very local, not microbial, but a very local level. And I talk about timescales, from milliseconds to millennia, the kind of work we do, geologic or ecologic or physical or chemical. So 2 examples, one large scale, one smaller scale and specific, which provides insights to processes that ultimately can affect broad scale activities. And then the third, building genome-based understanding of bacterial pH preferences. I had to read that one because it just doesn't stick in my brain. But the point here is this is the use of creative methodologies, use of artificial intelligence to shed new light, new insights into important physical, chemical, biological processes. So this is just a sampling of a spectrum, a range of activities that we're involved in here. A couple of highlights. We have many, 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 many more. And I think 123 of them are going to be on the posters after this. So I encourage you to stop by and see what I couldn't cover in my 3-item slide. I'm also very pleased that we have been able to make some awards through our innovative research program. I think a lot of you are familiar, but our IRP program is intended to be seed funding, to seed ideas that aren't quite ready for prime time yet, but they're high risk and potentially very high return. And we're very fortunate in CIRES. We've got some resources to make some investments and take a leap of faith with some of you who have these great ideas that just haven't been proven yet or demonstrated. I think most of us know that to write a successful proposal to an agency, you have to have already done a third of the work that you're proposing. Because you've got to show it's credible, it's believable, it'll work. This is one of the beauties of IRP. You just have to demonstrate a good idea that's got a shot. And if it does work out, the benefits could be really huge. Could lead to a more robust proposal with more resources from other sponsors. So our IRP awards, the first 5 of them, and there are 4 on the next page, but the first 5 are up here. Just take a second to look at the titles, the kinds of things that people are putting forth and pursuing. And also of note, for those of you who've won, I hope this doesn't come as a surprise to you, but you're going to be judges for next year's IRP proposals. These were selected by previous year's winners. So just take a look at some of the diversity of activity that has been proposed and that we're in a position to support. And these are the others. I'll let you scan it real quickly. And then I want to give a shout out to the CIRES administration, some of our unsung heroes. I'll sing for you heroes though at some point in the future. You know, we're a research organization with world-renowned research scientists, but this doesn't happen without the administration, without the administrative infrastructure that makes us strong, that makes us robust. This is the team. And I'm reluctant to say any areas, but whether I'll try, and forgive me if I forget you. But whether it's HR, finance, communications, IT, support in the message center. Who am I leaving out? Someone shout me. Oh, jeez. Events. Our basic operations. Linda, you're too critical to this organization. You're just part of the fabric. You don't get a special name. Right? Next year, I'll make the circle of your face bigger than everybody else's. But really, just outstanding support that makes us so strong. Really, I think I don't like to do institute to institute comparisons unless I'm in an argument with the director of another institute. But you know, we're stellar. We really are. We're stellar because of the quality of our science. We're stellar because of the opportunities that NOAA gives us through the cooperative agreement to afford us a robust intellectual and administrative infrastructure. And we are stellar because of the work of these people up here. So for some reason, you all seem to be clustered over there. Rather than make you get up and walk around so everybody can applaud to the administrator's march, I will just ask you to stand. And over here too, all of you, administration and CIRES, stand up. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm so sorry, Susan. I was afraid to go here because I knew that would happen. So, Susan, Linda, you can corner me after and do whatever you want to punish me. I do think it's interesting, though. You are largely over there, which means you left work the earliest to get here first to be on that side. But we'll talk about that later. Another area, group I want to give a shout out to is the CIRES mentors and the mentees. I want to give a shout out to the people who choose to be mentored and enter into this program. But this is another great opportunity that we have to support each other. And so to those of you, there are about 30 of you who've agreed and have fulfilled roles. I don't want to say responsibilities or commitments because that makes it sound like it's an expectation. This is volunteer. But to those of you who stepped up and agreed to mentor people, and to those of you who said, you know, I think I could benefit from this program, and took the leap and entered into it, I want to say thank you as well. We don't have pictures of each of you, but this one deserves applause too, so I'm just going to ask you to. And now we're going to move on to the recognition part of our program. Assuming the little statues and plaques and whatever are still standing after I've walked past them. So with that, I'm going to start with the career track promotions. In the associate scientist category, they're all listed up here. And I'm going to request that you just stand and be recognized. And thank you for your contributions and progress. Don't be shy. Stand up. Say, I got promoted. All right. There are many of you that stood, which makes me wonder if people are saying, I got my promotion. I don't need to go to Rendezvous this year. But thank you to those who came, and thank you for your hard work and your contributions. This is the associate scientist category. The next is in the research scientist category. All listed here. Look for your name. Look for the name of someone you know, you care about, and please stand up. This month. All right, thank you. And the next is administrators, and there are only 3 names up here, so you better stand up and claim your glory. Hopefully you're here. You win a prize for the highest percentage showing of all the people who got career track promotions, so thank you. And 5-year service, so we're gonna give those out. You gotta stay here 20 years if you wanna take something home with you, but I do wanna recognize the people who hit certain milestones, so the 5-year service awards, so please stand, be recognized. And I will point out, our record keeping is, I won't say off, but the clock starts whenever you most recently came back to CIRES. So you'll see some names of people that are like, wait, I saw that person 15 years ago. But if they've left and returned, the clock starts, because we don't want to hand out those lovely awards prematurely. You don't get them if you've left us. You got to earn them a second time. 10 years of service. Please stand up. Commit to it. Commit to it. Stand. Don't crouch. Stand. And also, can I give? Where's Andy? Can I give a cash award to whoever stands up first? Because there seems to be like a waiting around for. I don't want to be the first to stand. Stand. Claim it. Thank you for your service and your time. The time you've given us. I really appreciate seeing these and seeing you as you stand, because these are sustained commitments to this organization and a sustained commitment to what we stand for. So stand for it. And moving on to 15 years of service, the list gets smaller, but hopefully the percentage gets higher. Thank you. Thank you for serving. I noticed the longer you've been here, the later you arrived, because you're like over in this area now. And for the next awards, I'm going to hand them out one by one. And these are the names, but not everybody's here. So for 20 years, Kimberly Bow. And can I ask if your name's up here, come on up here so we can queue up and the same. Cooper, 20 years of service. He thought it was bad he had to stand. These people need to make the walk. You don't have to smile, but you can go either way. Why don't you go that way? Yeah, but I don't know which ones were skipping. Andrew Crockwell. Oh, Jose Jimenez. Are you here, Jose? Yeah, I'm gonna clap for you anyway. Vera Schultze-Peckham. I'm tempted to skip over yours, Linda, but I just don't think that'd be funny. And I'm all about the funny. Linda Pendergrass, ladies and gentlemen. Ah, yes, and Ken Tanaka. And then next up, 25 years service award. Wow. First up, Don David. I'm really scared I'll drop this. This is a working mechanism. Hold on carefully. And Kelvin Fedrick. And Catherine Fowler. Gary Hodges.
Thank you. All right, thanks.
And Shang Bao Ching. And moving on, the elite 30 years of service. Come on, Ted, get up here. Glad you're here. You want the Americans or do you want We'll take two pictures. And Jeff Dutton. Karen O'Loughlin. Wow, okay. Years. Did you expect that when you first started? All right, and now the CIRES Outstanding Performance Awards. This, again, there's so much I like about CIRES. But one of the things I particularly like about this is these are awards given by your peers. Selected by your peers. I have nothing to do with this. Nobody on my team has anything to do with this. This is just members of CIRES recognizing excellent achievements. So we have awards, 3 awards in science and engineering, and I believe 3 awards in service. And so first, science and engineering. That's a person who didn't win an award. First in science and engineering, Maxwell Holloway and CSL for extraordinary support of the atmosphere, remote sensing groups, instrument development, and field deployments, including the Cal 5 wildfire research campaign. Okay, well, recognize the next section. I see, oh, there you go, okay. Yes, because you stood up to be recognized for the career promotions. I like that you took the shortcut. And next up is a group from NCEI for the release of the new eTopo 22, NCEI's latest global continuous seamless topobathymetric elevation product. So, first up, my big friend. Oh, I wouldn't do that. You know, nothing but a handshake for the others. Kelly Carrigan. And Elliot Lynn. And the next in science and engineering to Elizabeth Asher in the Chemical Sciences Laboratory for pioneering deployment of aerosol instrumentation for long duration flights in the stratosphere, work that has produced illuminating new data. So, quite a showing from CSL.
Don't block the banner.
And performance awards in service. The first goes to Hazel Bain for expertly planning and facilitating in the Space Weather Prediction Center, for expertly planning and facilitating the International Space Weather Prediction Testbed Experiment, helping air carriers operate more safely during severe space weather events. So Hazel. Okay, and the next is from CIRES Education and Outreach, Admin and Western Water Assessment for designing and implementing culturally responsive educational materials focused on the importance of water and its connection to the people in the desert Southwest. And let's say something about this. There is a lot to unpack in here. Education, reaching people, benefiting people, the importance of water, connection to people, geographic specificity. This is really, really a remarkable, I mean, they're all remarkable, but this rings a lot of bells. I was struck when I first read this. So it takes a village. We got a village over there. I'm going to ask the village to come up, one of you at a time. The first, Katie Boyd. I guess I get to be the village idiot. Benet Duncan. Ethan Knight. Megan Luttrell. Amy Nakushnet. Christine Okochi. Daniela Pennycook. Matt Price. Brigitte Ronstedt. Anna Marie Shaker. march. We'll save this for later. And now, the next service award, I just want to say, you're lucky those are made of such high quality material, otherwise they'd be broken all over the floor. The next from the National Snow and Ice Data Center for making NASA's ICESat-2 data available in commercial cloud environments, enabling more scalable open access to Earth science data. So the NSIDC team. Whatever the opposite of a perp walk is, it's the honor walk as they cross the stage. First, Chris Bond. Next, Lisa Booker. And next, Daniel Crumley. Leslie Goldman. Jonathan Rivera. Shannon Wesley. Matt Savoy. And Amy Stein. These people will now be known as the elite crew of RL2. All right, don't tell Fackman though, they'll be mad. All right, and now CIRES Medal Awards. We go through this at each rendezvous. The Department of Commerce offers medal awards: silver medal, gold medal, bronze medal, not necessarily in that order. And this is for achievements, successful scientific or innovative achievements in support of the NOAA mission in the case of the people we work with. And it is freely acknowledged by leaders at NOAA, certainly by us here at CIRES, that a lot of these great achievements happen through, in large part, the contribution of members of CIRES. However, federal rules being what they are, they can only be awarded to federal employees. And they come with, correct me if I'm wrong, a small cash award as well that goes with it, right, Dave? Yeah. And so, since our people contribute significantly to these awards, yet can't be recognized in the Department of Commerce domain, we do it here at Rendezvous to call out some of the achievements and great contributions to our shared mission with NOAA. And so this year we have some silver medal winners and some bronze medal winners. So first, the silver, Dave Alured and Irina Jalalova for development and implementation of air quality model V6 to significantly advance operational air quality predictions for the nation. So, are they? Okay. Let's recognize the and a number of bronze medal awards. The first, I won't go through all the names because I'll hang them out, but the first for scientific achievement in the design and implementation of the complex Atlantic Trade Wind Ocean Atmosphere Mesoscale Interaction Campaign. So if I can call you up. Atlantic Trade Wind Ocean Atmosphere Mesoscale. Well, there's a lot of nouns in that. Is it just me or are there a lot of nouns? So, first is to Sunil Biter. Next, Ludovic Barreto. Maxwell Holloway. Jan Casil? Oh, Jan, excuse me. Yeah. Come on up, be recognized. Takanobu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may fall off the email.
Pardon? Oh. All right. So, Tak Yamaguchi. Another bronze medal for the extraordinary contributions to the year-long multidisciplinary drifting observatory for the study of Arctic climate, Mosaic Polar Expedition. So the Mosaic crew talk about a village. It takes a city. First again, Ludovic Barreto. John Cassano. Mark, you only get to shout NSIDC rocks once per rendezvous. Dave Costa. That's what outreach will get you. Easy. That's a good PR. Gina Joseph. Ola Person. Laura Rihimaki. Sergey Matrasov. I think you can see by the number of medals, because we still have more, and the number of people, it just really highlights the degree to which we contribute to the important NOAA mission and its success. The next, for the Commerce Department's first research to education transition that secured NOAA's ability to deliver data products to a vast network with global reach. Wenwei Lau. No? All right. Poor Hillary, standing all by herself. Hillary Petticoat. The next, for the new drought.gov website, a cutting-edge implementation of the NIDIS public law built on interagency and DOC partnerships. So the recipients of this award, please come forward. Looks like you all must have sat together. It's okay to sit together at lunch, but make sure you mingle during the posters. So first is Kelsey Santalino. Not here. All right, well, everybody send her an email. Adam Lang. Joel Pleasanty. Elizabeth Asofsky. Carter. Amanda Sheffield. The people are coming up, and as I hand them the award, they all say thank you to me, and that's backwards. Thank you. You've earned these. I had nothing to do with it. I just get to express my appreciation and gratitude. So thank you. The last of the bronze awards for synthesis, critical evaluation, and communication to scientists and the public about the global air quality impacts of COVID-19 pandemic lockdowns. Fitting, given that this is our first post-COVID full gathering indoors. I guess we had a full gathering last year, which wasn't indoors. So first, Kenneth Aiken. Next, Sunil Biden. Brandy McCarty. Jeff Eichel. Christoph Senf. I didn't even see it. All right, and one more award. The George C. and Joan A. Reed Award. The Reed family, George Reed was one of the earliest fellows in CIRES, actually. And after he passed, the family established a small endowment to sponsor an award every other year for outstanding graduate students who exemplify the spirit of CIRES and all that stands for. And this year goes to Zach Schiffman for innovative research on atmospheric aerosols and contributions to outreach and community building at CU. You get the only award that's shaped like no other. So those are some of the awards. We really don't have the time to acknowledge everyone. And these are some other awards that still don't capture a lot of the outstanding achievements and recognition that has been earned by our people. But I do want to point out these that are up here, highly cited researchers. You see the names there. We have 5 at CIRES of the university's 17. 2022 Rising Stars in Environmental Research, Ellie Brown. Governor's Award for High Impact Research. We actually received 2. One for rapid response science and service to communities after the Marshall Fire. And having been a recipient of that rapid response service, thank you. And 2 for a breakthrough space weather model that serves several economic sectors with better impact forecasts. Literacy Award to Susan Cobb for work with GSL students and interns and commitment to communicating science. Hydrological Sciences Early Career Award from the AGU to Ben Libna. AGU Charles A. Whitten Medal to Roger Billum, and really many, many more. And where have we captured them?
ASAs and annual reports.
Yeah, okay. So I encourage you, these are again just a few, but it's a sampling of the kind of gold mine of science capability and science talent that we have here. And it really is a privilege to recognize this. I think, you know, we've also gotten, these aren't awards, but some achievements that I've highlighted in the program. There's a letter from me that identifies some of our achievements on the proposal front, on the funding front, basically on the advancing science front. But really, perhaps the best way to capture some of this information and some of these achievements is to go to the posters. Mingle, interact with your colleagues, see what they're working on. It's fascinating. I mean, we all know the great work that people in our most immediate communities do. Imagine that multiplied dozens of times over, because that's what we have here. So I encourage you to explore, look through the posters, and just enjoy the rendezvous. Make sure you grab a program. I also want to say, it does take a village. It takes a lot of people to put this event together, as well as a lot of the other events we do at CIRES, but certainly the CMC Rendezvous Committee. This is an event put on by the CMC. So Chuck, whom you've heard from, Linda, whom you've seen up here, and Man, stand up. The 3 of you, stand up. I wanted you to see her, because she's the one who quietly picked up the stuff I knocked on the floor. It's the unsung heroes. And then, of course, the Rendezvous support team, those primarily in administration who did a lot of the legwork and the hustling to get this put together. So can I ask you to stand again? And then I mentioned the admin team. I encourage you to go to their posters, the strategic plan. I encourage you to, strongly encourage you to go to both of those posters. And with the strategic plan, please do scan the QR codes. Take a look at the plan, and also offer your suggestions, offer your input on that. And finally, you can grab a CIRES on your way out of this room. Don't wait till later, because they'll go fast, they're hot. CIRES is just kind of a collection of some of the highlights from our year's work and activities. If you want to just sort of tell someone, here's what CIRES is about, these are the things we do, it's a great tool for that. I take them when I go to Capitol Hill or meet other VIPs in the governor's office or elsewhere. So with that, please grab that. Please join the poster. I've been on the fence about this. I did in the last couple of days scribble down some words to a song, and since it's the first rendezvous, I'll be honest with you. There's a part of me that just says, oh God, people feel like they have to sit through this because you're the director. Please, leave. I'm not looking. No one has to stay, but for anyone who wants it. And it's not that good, and I haven't practiced it, but. And for those for the 200 and whatever of you who don't know, the very first rendezvous, no filming, Linda. The very first rendezvous, just spontaneously, I had sung a song in honor to one of the fellows that I had remembered from graduate school who had passed away that year. It was Ben Balsley. And occasionally since, I've done a little song here and there, so bear with me. And to the grad students who we forced to 3 minutes, this is a little over 3 minutes, don't hold it against me. There you go. I'm at the wrong table. You don't look familiar. Wish me luck. And I have to read because I didn't memorize it. And my voice isn't good enough for rock and roll. All right. Long, long time ago, I remember how the science used to make me smile. And I knew if I'd had my chance, that I could improve our circumstance and maybe we'd stay cooler for a while. But February has fewer shivers, shrinking snowpack dried out rivers. The future's not looking great. I only hope we're not too late. And I can't remember if I cried the first time that I testified. The senator shook his fist and lied. I hung my head and sighed. And I was thinking, why must you always deny my hybrid Chevys at the levee and the levee is dry? 'Cause CO2 emissions have gotten too high. It's a warning to us, we gotta try. A warning to us, we gotta try. Did your computer overload with your radiative transfer code as you worked your best to know? Now do you believe good policy can save us from calamity and cause the warming to go real slow? Well, there must be something we can do to hold at 1 degree or 2. There's cause for great concern. Perhaps maybe we'll learn. Despite no knowledge of the field, naysayers, they refuse to yield. Why they scream that it's really no big deal. I hung my head and sighed. We were singing, why must you always deny my hybrid Chevys at the levee, but the levee is dry. 'Cause CO2 emissions have gotten too high. It's a warning to us, we gotta try. A warning to us, we gotta try. Helter skelter, feel the summer swelter as the world's ice sheets are put through the melter. Sea levels high and rising fast, and dry dirt lies where there was grass. It's too much for us to look past. I feel this chance might just be our last. From comedy on the Boulder stage to op-eds on the written page, no angel born in hell could squelch the story we tell. And with flames more frequent in the night, if the Balch Nature paper is right, I saw Tucker laughing with delight. I hung my head and sighed. I started screaming, why must you always deny hybrid Chevys at the levee, but the levee is dry? 'Cause CO2 emissions have gotten too high. It's a warning to us, we gotta try. A warning to us, we gotta try. I met a girl who sang the blues and invited her to the rendezvous. She just smiled and turned away. So I went down to the UMC, 'cause it was finals week and the coffee's free. But the man said faculty still had to pay. And though we did our best to warn, our efforts often met with scorn. Despite the words we've spoken, the system feels so broken. Boy, I'm sweating. And the first man to predict this fix, Arrhenius in 1896. Some said it's just some science tricks, but it's a warning we must try. So bye-bye to all of those who deny my hybrid Chevy's at the levee, but the levee is dry. It doesn't have to be this way, we don't have to fry, 'cause through science I know we'll get by. 'Cause through science I know we'll get by. So bye-bye to all of those who deny my hybrid Chevy's at the levee, but the levee is dry. It doesn't have to be this way, we don't have to fry, 'cause through science I know we'll get by. So to the grad students, you might have noticed that was more than 3 minutes here on my apologies. Let's go look at some posters, let's go have some fun, let's go bingo.
Thank you.